The New England Patriots are continuing to make roster moves here even after the 2024 draft, as they are going to be signing edge rusher Oshane Ximines to a one-year contract. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Colby with Patriots Global back here with another video, and of course, bringing you guys another breakdown here for the New England Patriots. No surprise here that they are adding some free agents after the draft, just because that's usually what teams do. There's still a good amount of quality free agents still on the board, and a lot of times those guys do not get signed till around training camp or right after the draft, because teams now know what their remaining needs are, right? Free agency, for the most part, is done. The draft is officially done. The only way you are going to fulfill the rest of the needs that your team has are with the current free agents or by making trades. So this is usually around the time where we're going to start seeing free agents who are still available start flying off the board. But the Patriots do have to get 290 players as they get ready for OTAs, rookie minicamp, mandatory minicamp, and then, of course, getting into training camp. The Patriots were at 88 out of 90 total roster spots. With this move, they will now get up to 89. They would have been at 90, but they just released Connor McDermott. And this is overall a move that I don't mind. I don't mind the Patriots adding some defensive pieces here, because if you look at what they've done so far this offseason, it's mainly adding offensive pieces, which is what they should have done. But of course, you do still need some depth defensively, because, I mean, that's how the Patriots are going to be successful this year. From a defensive standpoint, they are going to rely on their defense to keep them in games and, of course, give the offense more opportunities. But you look at what the Patriots did in the draft. They only drafted one defensive player. You look at what they did in free agency, and it was mainly bringing back or adding offensive players here. So the Patriots, to fill up the roster, adding defensive players is something that honestly I'm all for. And keep in mind too, like over the next couple of months, we are going to see a lot of turnover with this roster between guys who might have been just signed or UDFAs that were just signed being released after a couple of days or being released after a couple of weeks as the team tries to find its best continuity for training camp. Yes, you want to have the best continuity throughout every single practice throughout the offseason, but the team that you have in training camp is ultimately the team that you are going to try to build around for the 2024 season. But without further ado, let's just hop right into this. So Ximines is only 27 years old, and I think I'm saying that last name right. From everything I've heard, that is how you say his name, but he entered the NFL as a third-round pick in 2019, being the 95th overall pick. So this is a guy that was pretty highly thought upon, but just never lived up to the third-round hype that he was ultimately given. Coming out of Old Dominion, he was a twice-earned All-Conference USA honors and went on to appear in 48 games during his stay with the New York Giants. He ended up making 9 starts along that way, recorded 71 total tackles, 6.5 total sacks. He was able to put up 6 pass deflections, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. He put up an entire 1,354 snaps on defense while putting up 548 snaps on special teams while being a part of the Giants. Since then, he has not found another home. Now, the former third-round pick started the 2023 season on the practice squad for the New York Giants after being released for 53-man roster cutdowns that previous August. 6'4", 255 pounds, so a little bit smaller than ideally you would like, but he is very lengthy. And if you are going to be undersized as an edge defender, as a defensive lineman, one of the best ways to make that up is by being lengthy. He ended up ultimately being released from New York around the November time. Ultimately, why he was released was because he used up all his elevations. As we know, if you're going to be on the practice squad, you only have a certain amount of elevations before the team is required to sign you to their 53-man roster. The Giants felt that he was not worth a 53-man roster spot, so it was better to just ultimately release him than sign him to their roster. With the Giants, he truly was just a rotational player. He was never a starter for the team. He never got starting snaps because, truthfully, they were never earned. Although He did, like I said, start his career with the Giants in 2019 and played for them all the way up to 2023. So he was able to play out his 4-year contract with the Giants and then did get another contract on top of that. His best season did come in his rookie year in 2019 when he played in 16 games, only started in 2 of them with 1 pass defended, 4.5 sacks, 25 total tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 9 quarterback hits. A season in which, as a third round pick, if he was able to build on, looks like it could have been a potential hit for the Giants, but ultimately was never able to build upon that. Did deal with an injury, though, after that 2019 season that only allowed him to play in 4 total games in 2020, which he only put up 5 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and 3 quarterback hits. This past season, appearing in only 3 games for the Giants, only put up 4 tackles and 2 quarterback hits. Again, looking at the way that he was utilized with the Giants and looking at his snap counts, he was never going to be a primary starting linebacker for you. And that's never a case you're going to want to be in. In fact, if it comes down to you having injuries and having him be your starting linebacker versus promoting somebody from the practice squad or signing a street free agent, you probably want to sign a street free agent. But this is a guy that also makes a ton of sense for the Patriots, can give them versatility, can give them depth and a rotational piece as an edge rusher defensively, but he is also going to play special teams. In his rookie season, he played 45% of the Giants' defensive snaps while playing 66% on special teams. The most defensive snaps that he played in an entire season was in 2022 when he played 51% of the Giants' defensive snaps and played 28% of their special teams. As for this past year and the way that he was utilized, he played 25% of the Giants' defensive snaps while playing 56% of their special teams. If he is going to make this final roster, it is going to have to be through special teams. Again, he's a guy that I do think realistically could take over maybe for that Mack Wilson type of role. And I understand that Mack Wilson was more of a linebacker, but his role with New England this last year that allowed him to break out was because of his ability on third down to set the edge and shoot the gap. And that is exactly what I could see Ximines' role ultimately being. We also know that the Patriots, Gerard Mayo, no matter what the position is going to be, whether it's even quarterback, whether it's tackle, whether it's edge defender, they want to bring competition in this offseason within their own team, which is a very important aspect that I think is very underrated. If you have guys competing throughout the entire offseason with their own players, with their own teammates to try to make the team, that turnover is going to put itself and that mentality for the 2024 season. And I think mentality and how players think and how players play and how they view the team is going to be very important. Again, I could see him trying to compete with Taki to be the guy that the Patriots place on third down again in that Mack Wilson role, because that was a pivotal role for the Patriots defense this past season and a role that they're definitely going to have to try to fill. Now, in terms of his game, he is definitely much better as a pass rusher that he is in stopping the run. He really is not good at stopping the run at all. But I believe in DeMarcus Covington. He was able to get the best out of Christian Barmore. He was able to get the best out of Anthony Jennings. And as a third round pick in 2019, he has the potential. We just have to see if it can be unlocked in any way, shape, or form, which the Patriots have done on several different occasions. And edge rusher, too, is honestly a position that I thought that the Patriots could add in the draft because, yes, they have bodies there for this season, but the bodies that they have even for this season are questionable. And the starting edge rushers they have are all in contract year. So getting some depth, getting an insurance policy at the edge rusher position, I think was a very, very low-key important need for the Patriots. So I do like that they are adding some depth there. Obviously, Josh Uche was dealing with injuries a lot throughout this past 2023 season. And Matthew Judon, he dealt with a season-ending injury. So again, you need insurance policies behind those players. Ultimately, this is probably more of a camp body. This is a guy that is going to have to fight for a roster spot. But like I said, as a former third-round pick, he at least did show the potential at one point. What are your guys' thoughts on this move? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on the video and, of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. Appreciate you guys, as always, for watching. And most importantly, never forget, go Pats.